Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, actually. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills. And yes, we have just narrowly escaped quite a disastrous situation here. Apparently there has been a tentative agreement signed for the rail companies, and so goods will be continued to be shipped across countries, and that's always a good thing. I mean, we have enough of an issue with the supply chain currently. I don't know how many trucks are still not on the road. I know that there's a lot of drivers that have either quit or given up or were forced to quit. Whatever the case, I know that there's still a shortage of people delivering goods. So any disruption of the trains would have been pretty ugly, and I think that disruptions for people trying to go to work would have been quite nasty as well. So I'm glad to hear that that's the case. It's one less thing for us to worry about with a multitude of other things going on at this point. So anyway, okay, so today I have separated some of my potatoes, and I have put them in a box here, and these are going to be my seed potatoes for next year. I've also included the little tiny ones in there. They probably won't last, but we'll see. So most of them are still a good size. They certainly could be canned up, but I've decided to try and use these up as seed potatoes, and I have found a box that I had bought my strawberries in, that I had kept, I hadn't thrown out. So I'm using that, and I've just covered it up with another cardboard that I've taken it apart. And they're just mainly just one layer with a few of the small ones thrown on top. And I have separated the balance of what I am going to do. There's not many left there, as you can see. And this is the balance of what is going to be dehydrated. I do have other potatoes. I believe that they are the russet and some white that I will not be processing, so they'll be used fresh. But I will have a ton of processed potatoes, whether it is French fries, dehydrated, chips, dehydrated slices, canned chunks, So I have a multitude of potatoes in a multitude of formats. This is the end of them, and I'm going to do these today. So meanwhile, I'll put my seed potatoes aside, and I do have to find a place to keep them cool. Hopefully I will be able to salvage them. I have no idea. I have never saved seed potatoes in the past, so I have no idea whether they will last or not. So I hope they do. If not, I'll have to just buy fresh ones next year. But these are beautiful potatoes and would be awesome to be able to use them for seed potatoes for next year. Okay, so I have a pot of water. I'm hoping I can get these done in one swoop, but that may not be the case. These all have been washed, and I'm not going to bother to peel them. I'm just going to chip them, and they will need to be blanched. Otherwise, potatoes turn black if you just dehydrate them without blanching. So I've got my pot of water on here, and I've got a pot of water here, and I will just put them directly in the pot of water as I'm working. Now these potatoes I hope to be able to use as like home fries or to add to stews. They can be used in a multitude of ways. And dehydrating potatoes this size is new to me as well, so now that one got hit by the shovel, so a big chunk of it was destroyed. Okay, so as I was saying, dehydrating potatoes of this size is still fairly new to me as well, and using them up is still new. So we will have to find ways of using them up, but I think even rehydrating them and then frying them up with onions would make a very nice tasty dish, even as a side dish or a breakfast. Okay, so I'm going to continue this along until I've got them all cut up and chipped, because otherwise it gets pretty noisy with my little chipper here. And yes, I still have a fair bit of produce from the garden to pick. My garden is absolutely atrocious because I neglected it while I was away. It is full of weeds, and at this point I'm not even going to bother with the weeds. I'm not going to worry about them. I'm going to strip the garden of any possible produce that it will give me, and after that I will clean it up and get it ready for winter hibernation. So this is, whoops, one more. The end of my potatoes. It's been very, for me, it's been awesome because I've never grown potatoes before, so I've done, as far as I'm concerned, quite well with them. And my tomatoes, well, yeah, I'm used to growing tomatoes. And I have to admit that my garden does a lot to help with that. It's not sandy soil, it's clay soil, and it's very heavy, and the tomatoes seem to enjoy that type of soil. So right now I'm just going to blanch. I have one batch on the stove. The pot couldn't take all of it, so I'm going to do this in 2 batches. Then I'm going to set them on the dehydrator and let it dehydrate overnight, and then I am done with potatoes, and I'm not sorry. I am only hoping I can get done with tomatoes pretty soon, although I've made a count, and believe you me, if I could still find another 50-pound bushel to do, I might just do that, just to have extra backup. I know everyone thinks that perhaps I have a ton of tomatoes, but this is just about the average that I do every year. There's really no extra there, so having a little bit of extra might not be a bad thing, especially if my son decides he wants more than what he normally gets from me. So we'll just have to see. Either we'll make do with what we have, or I'll see if I could find another bushel and get the big machine out at that point. We'll see. Okay, so we have averted a major catastrophe with the potential rail strike. Thank God it didn't occur. But I can say probably with a lot of certainty that we're going to have, let me just get a center here. Yes, that we're going to have a lot of issues in the next few months based on ideological differences, and they are huge. And camps are split into 2 main groups, unfortunately, and there seems to be no middle ground and no compromise on both sides. So, not saying that there should be. I believe that both sides will be pushing for their own agendas to be moved forward, and it will get ugly when there's winners and losers. Losers never like to accept their losses, and winners cannot always just go ahead and be a winner and be happy to have won. We have the same issue here in Canada now with our new provincial leader. Obviously, his ideas are far removed from the political position that is in place currently. And that being the case, it will not be a smooth transition for him, although in his particular case, even though he is the 3rd one to have that position, in recent memory. I think he's a little bit tougher than the other previous two were, and more willing to stand his ground. So yes, there's going to be a bit of a fight. Okay, so to reiterate, we are dealing with a battle of ideologies, and it could turn into an ugly war, and we have no idea what the outcome of that will be, except that it can get really nasty before it settles down. So anyway, I'm still prepping. I'm still putting away as much food as I can. I have lots of tomatoes still to put up, perhaps. And if not, then I will move happily along to putting up apples and apple items. So anyway, looks like I'm all done here. This is the last of my potatoes, and I'm glad to see this happen because I do have a lot of potatoes put away now. And okay, these are going to go on my dehydrator overnight, and they'll be ready tomorrow. This is Tony from her Homestead Skills. Let us know what you think, where you see the difficulties arising. I may see them in one area, and you may see them in another. So perhaps if we all share ideas, who knows what we can come up with. Anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and we will catch you on the next one. Have a great day.